Thailand's parliament is set to hold another ballot to pick a new prime minister tomorrow. Last week, a Move Forward party leader, Pita Limjaroenrat, failed to get enough votes after military-appointed senators of the upper house blocked his bid for the premiership. CNA's Sakse Sambat reports on the current state of play before Mr Pita's second attempt and explains why this could be his last.
1 week after the joint assembly between the House and the Senate has rejected Move Forward party leader Pita Limjaroenrat as Thai Prime Minister, his chances at the second attempt have not improved. Quite the opposite. Even though the 8-party coalition have confirmed to nominate him again for the second round of voting on this Wednesday, there is no doubt whether he can actually get a second attempt. The conservative anti-Pita faction, mainly the senators appointed by the former military government, are arguing that since a motion has already been rejected, it cannot be resubmitted for the duration of the parliamentary term. And they say that Pita's prime minister nomination is a motion and it has failed, and thus he can't be put up again. Obviously, the other side disagrees, saying these two things are not one and the same. The Constitution has no answer to that, and it also doesn't limit how many times a candidate can be nominated as Prime Minister. So in theory, it can go on endlessly until someone gets the majority of the votes. There has been no decision on that matter yet. In fact, there will be actually a debate about this very issue before the second Prime Minister's vote, so we are in for potentially another long day in Parliament. Last week's Prime Minister vote did not go in favor of Pita Limjaroenrat, failing to reach a simple majority, with too many no votes and abstentions, mostly from those aforementioned senators. Only a dozen of senators and none of the rival MPs have voted for Mr Pita. They were vocally opposed to the reformist progressive agenda of the Move Forward party, especially over the party's plans to amend the Lèse Majesté law, a law that criminalizes criticism and insult of the traditionally revered monarchy. And despite the ongoing lobbying of the Move Forward party, there seems to be very little hope that more senators would actually vote for Pita than last time. So what happens if Pita fails a second time? Well, we know that a third round is scheduled for this Thursday, but instead of Pita, we might get to see a new name on the nomination list instead. The Thai party, which is the second biggest party in the coalition, will step up and nominate Setha Thavisin. The 60-year-old is a political novice but was boasting his economic credentials as a property tycoon during the election campaign. That would mean that 2 months after the elections, we might end up with a prime minister whose party has not won the most votes. At the same time as Parliament convenes, the Constitutional Court is scheduled to decide whether to proceed with a case against Pita Limjaroenrat over allegations of violating election laws. He's accused of illegally holding shares in a media company, even though the broadcaster in question hasn't been on air for over 15 years. If the court accepts the case, Pita could be suspended as an MP until there's a verdict. There have been many hurdles for the Move Forward party and Pita Limjaroenrat, but ever since their surprise election victory in May, the attempts to block them from forming the next Thai government have only increased. But that could also increase political tensions as the lawmakers are deciding which direction Thailand will go next. Sakse Sambat, CNA, Bangkok.
Meanwhile, Pita Limjaroenrat says he's willing to slow the pace of change as proposed by his Move Forward party's ambitious reform agenda. That's should he become the country's next leader, but adding that his party will not back down from its goal of amending the Lèse Majesté law. He made those comments in an interview with Reuters on the eve of his second attempt to secure the top job. Mr Pita stressed that the proposed changes to the law would safeguard it against misuse and would also ensure the monarchy is not politicized. The Move Forward party leader adding that he's sticking to what he promised voters.
But to really, turn a blind eye away from the issue, and when I look into the eyes of the younger generations who might not share the same sentiment as me or the parents, I cannot look them in the eye and say that, I'm walk away from this issue and let you be what you were and what you are and what you will be. I cannot do that as a human being.